Well, this is a video on cleaning out the heater box. In other words, the heater core actually sits in here. Now, here's the dashboard, right? If you just get a reference. And this is a right-hand drive, so you know it's on the other side. But anyway, the heater core sits in there horizontal, like this, flat. And air blows down through the heater core, then out this bottom duct here. Well, the heater core has now been cleaned of all the water or rust, or no water, the rust that was inside there, debris, which didn't seem to be any. But the problem actually I have is there's been leaves accumulating on top of the heater core. And I took this apart some years ago. Actually, I changed the little bird cage that was in there because I had this thing sitting a couple years and a mouse got in a bird cage and ate the bird cage that makes the fan blow, you know. And I replaced that part at one time. But what I'm going to do here, if you see I drew a line, and you got to draw this above where the seam is. You see that seam? Because the heater core is right here. It's right here. As a matter of fact, if I feel underneath here on the bottom, I could feel the bottom of the vents on the heater core. So I'm going to drill very carefully a hole that big, and I'm going to use a rubber stopper to go in there and fill it. This will be, that'll fill in that hole just perfectly. And this nozzle on this will be the nozzle I'm going to use on the end of a 6.5 horse vac. Will pull out whatever garbage is in there. And the way I'm going to get the garbage out of there is I'm going to use the air compressor to blow air up this way while the vacuum is pulling that way. This way I don't vacuum, I don't want to try to vacuum across the heater core fins themselves because I'll bend them. I want to see how much junk comes out of this damn thing. I've actually cleaned out the bottom of the vacuum cleaner where the 6.5 horse vacuum cleaners are going to be used for this with this nozzle. We'll see how much junk comes out of there. I think there's going to be a whole hell of a lot because no air is blowing out of here. The air blows out of the vent. But when you direct the air to go through the heater core, it's just clogged with leaves on top. And you have to be careful because the heater core sits right here. So you got to be above this seam where you make the cut. So make sure, because if you go below that, you're going to cut a hole in the heater core, and then you're going to have to replace it. And actually, I took this apart. It was freaking, I think it was about 15 years ago or something like that. More than that, I took this all apart and I cleaned it out. This is a hell of a lot easier way of doing it because I changed the, like I said, the bird cage thing because a mouse ate it one time, and it was sitting for a year and a mouse got in there and ate it. But it is a pain in the ass to take apart. But once I set this up, I'll be able to, it might be getting bigger cork than this. This is a little bit over an inch. I might be getting some a little bit bigger than that, but that's about as big as this. And you know, I might, if it really becomes a problem to clean this out, I can actually cut this out where it's like a rectangle and glue epoxy a piece of plastic over it, thick piece of high impact plastic, and cover it. But I'd rather use a rubber stopper. I think I'm going to be able to get it out really good with the combination of compressed air blowing up this way, which is the opposite direction of the way the heater blows, right? So it'd be blowing it off, the junk will be blowing off where it's laying on top of the heater core, and then it'll be pulling out with a 6.5 horse vac with a concentrated nozzle like this. That should do it. And just to show you, this is the inside of the vacuum cleaner now. I cleaned it out, washed it out. So whatever goes in here is going to be from the heater core, and I'll bet you it's going to be a lot of stuff, and you'll see why that damn thing isn't blowing any air through there. There's a lot of leaves blocking it, but that's an easy fix if this works out. Now if you look carefully, that hole in there where I just took out, you know, I used this thing here. Actually I didn't use a hole saw. I just marked how big it should be, and actually opened it up just a hair bigger than the stopper, so I got to put some Gorilla Tape around the stopper and glue some weather strip adhesive to the Gorilla Tape. But it probably needs maybe even a bigger hole. Look at all those leaves that are in there. That is piled up with leaves. So this is going to go inside here, and we're going to pull out as much of it as we can with the hose, and see what happens. And we're going to blow compressed air up in this way after I start getting it manually cleaned out. There's going to be a lot of junk coming out of this damn thing. Man, it was full. Okay, so we'll turn on this little 6.5 horse, little 6.5 horse shop vac. And of course, I'm using the air compressor down in here in this to blow up. So force debris out of it. Actually, I'm probably gonna have to put a little hose on the end of this and get down there, make a hose, and have like a little angle on it so it lays flat across there. And that's a lot of junk in there, man. Well, I got at least 99% of it out of there, and I could feel air blowing down through the vents, which means it's going to go through the heater core, which is all cleaned out inside the heater core itself where the water flows through, so it's going to be plenty hot. And the air is going to flow through the heater core now, and a lot of junk came out of there, so I'm going to show you. And actually there was a mouse or two in there as usual. What the hell else? Mice like old Jeeps. That's all the junk that came out of there. And there's actually a mouse in that debris with all the stuff. And anyway, great, huh? Wonderful. But that's the easy way. I put that rubber stopper in there with some Gorilla Tape to make the rubber stopper a little bit bigger, and it'll hold nice and tight because it's in there solid. But we'll have heat, so that's important. Even though I'm in Florida, but you never know when you need it, right? So anyway, that's a done deal. On to the next step. And you know, when you're using this, you're better off using compressed air, like I said, to go through the bottom to blow up. And I made something here, what the hell, wherever the hell it is, that rubber extension, this rubber extension that goes on this hose here. So you know, you notice I made I put some tape around this so that it locks it in place, and it's got an angle cut. So a lot of times I was picking up some junk and it was getting stuck in there, and I just pull it out and I clean it, and it took me about a half an hour, but hey, you know, it's cleaned out, so it should work good now. And that's how you do it.